देवादिदेव भगवान महादेव शिव और जगत जननी जगदम्बा के चरणों में नमन करते हुए मैं डॉक्टर उदिता त्यागी WRC के पहले इनॉग्रल सेशन में आज बड़े हर्ष के साथ आप सभी लोगों के समक्ष पूरे दुनिया भर में जिहाद वॉच के प्रणेता के तौर पर, एक बहुत बड़े लेखक के तौर पर, एक बड़े थिंकर के तौर पर, और कहना चाहिए जो लोग देश में और समाज में प्रोग्रेसिव थॉट्स के साथ एक्सट्रीमिस्ट विचारधारा से लड़ रहे हैं, शायद उसमें सबसे अग्रणी नाम जो है वो है रॉबर्ट स्पेंसर जी का। आज बड़ा हर्ष का विषय है कि WRC के पहले ही सेशन में रॉबर्ट स्पेंसर जी हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं। नमस्कार रॉबर्ट।
Thank you. It's very good to see you all.
I present you His Holiness Mahamandleshwar Yati Maharaj. And Robert Spencer ji, I would like to say a few words about him. He's a great author. He's a great blogger. He is the most prominent figure, counter jihad movement. The perfect word is counter jihad movement. And he has founded Jihad Watch in 2003, and he has founded one organization to stop Islamization of America, and that is under Jihad Watch. Am I right, Robert?
I think that's generally correct. Yes, thank you.
Sir, we are great. We are huge admirer of you. You are the greatest warrior among us. All the people who are fighting against jihad, you are the best. You are the best thinker, best philosopher, best. Your struggle will show us the path that we can defend the whole humanity.
Well, I'm deeply honored. Thank you.
Maharaj ji is a great fan of you, including me also.
All of us.
All of us. The people are sitting behind us. They all admire you all the time, and you are the one who has actually shown the path of the people, that we can actually fight with this radicalized madness of some so-called...
The cancer of humanity.
Yeah, cancer of humanity is the right word.
The cancer of humanity is right word for Islam.
So I request you to start with your maybe some introductory speech. What would you like to say to the viewers of the WRC, I mean the World Religious Convention? So what is your thought process about this? How we can counter jihad, or how we can save the humanity, or how can we survive in this scenario?
Well, in the first place, thank you. I want to express my gratitude and admiration to you for holding this conference. It's extremely important, and it's all the more important for being so unusual. There ought to be conferences of this kind in every nation around the world on a regular basis. And the fact that there is not is an indication of the great difficulty that we face. It has been clear since the 7th century that we face an ideological threat that stems from a belief system that is aggressive, supremacist, violent, and expansion. And it is relentless. There is no final victory over it because they never give up. They never stop. But we are called, if we wish to maintain our own religion, our own cultures, our own nation, and our own integrity as individuals, then we are called to remain vigilant and to unite in fighting against it. And this is the big element that has been lacking for all of the 21st century, but not only that, all through history. There has never been a unified struggle against Islamic jihad. And there has never even been recognition that we all face the same foe.
Exactly.
There has only been particular elements of resistance but had never seen themselves as united to the others. For example, there was a crusade in Europe, or out of Europe, that prevented the total conquest and Islamization of Europe. There was likewise the resistance to jihad over many centuries in India, which was never recognized in Europe as being a struggle against the common foe, and yet the people who were trying to conquer and Islamize India held exactly the same beliefs and exactly the same goals as the people trying to conquer and Islamize Europe. And now, as government in North America and pretty much everywhere else in the world, they all hold to the same ideology, and yet this is still not recognized. You take, for example, Israel, which is vilified by the entire world. The people who face it are proceeding from exactly the same beliefs and assumptions and goals as the people who are persecuting Hindus in Bangladesh and the people who took down the Twin Towers in the United States in 2001, and Islamic jihadis in Europe who boast about how, because of the demographics, they will conquer and Islamize Europe within the next generation or two. They all hold to the same beliefs, and yet we never have recognized what there needed to be in the 7th century, and in the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, 11th, and all the way up to today, was a unified front. There was a time, actually, when the Mongols in the Middle Ages were in touch with Christians in Europe, and in between them were the Islamic Jihad Turks. And the Mongols were fighting the Turks on one side, and the Christians were defending themselves against the Turks on the other. And the Mongols actually got in touch with the Christians in Europe to discuss making common cause against Islamic Jihad, but nothing came of it because there was insufficient recognition in Europe that the Mongols were actually facing the same threat. And this has remained true to this day. If you ask most anyone in Europe or North America if the unrest in Bangladesh has any connection whatsoever to the 9/11 attacks or to the ongoing stabbings on the street in Europe or things of that kind, they would say no, there's no relation whatsoever. And this is what we have to overcome. This is what you're taking a great stride toward overcoming by having this conference. In inviting me and inviting the other speakers, and I regret, I apologize to you that I was not able to be there in person. It would have been a great honor to me and a great joy for me personally to be able to be in India, but I was unable for a variety of reasons. In any case, inviting me, inviting the others, is an indication that the world you are waking up and the world at large is waking up to the what is needed today is an international counter-jihad alliance that would be between nation states as well as between individuals. Take, for example, Narendra Modi and his government in India. He has good relations with Donald Trump, and we hope that will continue during the second Trump administration. But they both need to acknowledge what neither of them has acknowledged in any explicit way, and that is that India and the United States both face the threat of Islamic jihad, and it is the same threat of Islamic jihad that Israel faces, that Europe faces, and that so many other places in the world face. And that this is why the Muslims in Bangladesh are being victimized today, and this is why there is ongoing strife in various parts of India, and this is why there will always be this difficulty, because as long as there are believers in Muhammad and the Quran and Islam, they will believe, there will be some Muslims who believe that they have a responsibility before the divinity to wage war against those who do not believe. That will never end. The only thing we can do is be strong against it, and we can be much stronger, united than divided. Much stronger seeing the unity of the threat we face, rather than continuing to pretend that these are separate and discrete causes of unrest that have no relation to one another. So that is what I have to say this morning or this evening, and thank you very much.
At WRC, Guruji believes that we have this one enemy. We all have the one enemy, as you said earlier, that the foe is the same. And this is not one's struggle. This is not only mine struggle, your struggle. It's ours struggle. It's our fight. So this is the time, Guruji believes so, that we all should come together at the same point. We should all come together at a same platform. As you call it, counter jihad is the right word. This is anti-jihad. I think it's a front. And this is very, I need to say that strong start of this movement. And I'm very much happy. I'm very much happy, and I'm very much obliged that you have started this program, this convention's speeches. You are the first one. So this is a very joyful thing for all of us, because you are the ideal. You are the ideal for us, for all of us. So Guruji, yeah, you are. Guruji believes that we all should come together. And this is only the beginning. Maybe very soon, we all are sitting together, and we must be talking about this, the danger of different...
Maybe in America.
In America,
or
yes.
Maybe in Europe.
Yeah.
Or maybe in Israel.
Yeah.
We will sit together. One thing we have to understand, we have to finish jihad. Otherwise, jihad will finish us.
This is what he believes.
And we have to have respect for one another, despite all of our differences and disagreements that we may have among ourselves. These have always prevented throughout history any unified front. And we could all speak about grievances and problems that there have been in the past. And I'm not interested in denying any of them. But we have to remember that the jihadis don't care about how we may disagree with one another. And the jihadis only are rejoicing if we don't have respect for one another and an understanding that we all want to perpetuate our own culture, our own nations, our own traditions, and so on. And so we have to be mutually respectful and supportive in a way that we never have been.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Very much true. Because
I hope this is something your conference will be the beginning.
Yeah, we both are seeing it as a beginning of something. I mean, maybe it is very small effort, from an Indian by an Indian, but I think we are same. We are facing the same problem. So that, as you said earlier, that yes, we have to have mutual respect for each other. We have to have mutual understanding for each other. I mean, we have to forget about our differences. The bottom line. This is what we need to do.
Not necessarily indefinitely, and there are things that we can work out.
Yes.
But cannot let these differences prevent us from understanding that we face this common foe and can only defeat this common foe together rather than all being at each other instead.
Yeah, that is true. So, Mr. Robert, how actually we can counter this jihad? I mean, what kind of solutions you suggest for all this? Because this is not only about the problems, this is all about the solutions also, because you are one of the greatest thinker, I think. So what is your thought process? How you thought about it? How you think about it? How actually you take it? That will make actually a real difference in our thought process. So what is your thinking about this thing?
One of the major things is to identify the problem honestly. You would think that this had been done already, but yet there is no government in the world today that acknowledges that there is a threat of Islamic jihad. The United States government doesn't. The European governments don't. To the best of my knowledge, the Indian government does not. There is no government today that states that there is in our various nations have Muslim populations. And what are we to do about that? The first thing is to enforce one set of laws for everyone. And this is a big point of controversy, of course, in India, and a big point of controversy to a lesser degree, but nonetheless very much everywhere else. For example, in the United States several years ago, there were two doctors, I believe they were from Pakistan, if I recall correctly, who were performing female genital mutilation in Detroit, Michigan. And they were arrested and put on trial because female genital mutilation is illegal in the United States. And so, in the course of the trial, they were arguing that this was part of their religion, which was extremely interesting in itself because the Muslims in the United States previously had always denied that it was part of their religion. And in every time, in every story that arose about it being practiced in the United States, there would be a Muslim spokesman saying, this has nothing to do with Islam, and you should not think ill of Islam because this happened. Then suddenly these doctors were put on trial, and it became part of their religion. Now, of course, we know that it is part of it. And it was actually out of the Deobandi school on the subcontinent that they had been arguing that this was something that is not. Consequently, they argued that it's a matter of their religious freedom that they had to be allowed to do this. And the judge dismissed the case and said, yes, it is your religious freedom to practice this. Now, that kind of thing must end if we have laws against female genital mutilation or laws against any number of Islamic practices that go violate basic tenets of human rights, then we must have the courage to enforce them within the Islamic community. And to say, if you want to be a citizen of India, or you want to be a citizen of the United States, or France, or Germany, or England, then you have to conform to the laws of the society, which means that you cannot practice things like this that are contrary to our understanding of the dignity of women as human beings and so on. This is something that no government has ever done or had the courage to do. And as I explained just now with the judge in the United States, it's unlikely. The trends are going the other way. And yet that is the first step. And the Citizenship Amendment Act is the first step toward that. But there are no special laws for special groups of people, but one law for all the citizens of the nation. It's only a matter of time. As a matter of fact, in Europe, in several states throughout history, one of the biggest victories for human rights, for understanding human rights that we all accept the Islamic school, was the idea that there was one law for all, that there was not a special law for the noble and another law for the peasants. There was not a special law for one class, for the rich, for the poor, but everybody has responsibility towards the same law. And this is the basis of the idea of a society in which people enjoy equality of rights. So it ought to be a basic thing that governments establish and enforce. But today, under pressure from Islamic groups who demand special laws so that they can practice Sharia, this has been eroded and this understanding is gone without any understanding of the fact that once you allow the practice of Sharia, the Sharia adherent people want to expand its scope and bring them under its sway, which denies the non-Muslims basic rights, as we know from history. So this, as well as from present-day practice in every Islamic state in the world, where no non-Muslims enjoy equality of rights anywhere in the world. And so this ought to be the first step. And we, as individual citizens, and as groups such as the one that you have established there, should be demanding of our government and of our elected officials that they do this, Otherwise, our society cannot continue as free societies. The Sharia adherent areas will expand, the non-Sharia adherent areas will contract, until finally the entire nation is under the rule of Sharia. This is the goal of Islam. We will only be realistic to acknowledge it as the goal of Islam, to understand that while not all Muslims are engaging in trying to attain that goal, enough of them are for it to be a matter of concern, and consequently, we have to take steps to defend our society.
Yeah, that is true, very much true. And we must think about this thing that wherever we are living, we have to respect the laws of the country. I mean, either you start respecting the laws of the country, what you like, or you go there where you have that kind of law. So this is very basic thing. Would His Holiness would like to say
Yes.
something?
Everything you are talking great. I am just listening.
Okay, fine.
I'm just listening.
Okay. So, Robert, what do you think about this? I mean, population jihad, because this is the tool. They have, they have made this a tool just to conquer the democracy of the different continents or the countries. I think this is very serious problem. So, what should we do in this scenario? I mean, either the Christians or the Sanatanis or the other people, they are not getting into this thing. I mean, they are unable to understand the consequences of this thing, that they are not producing that much good as they are doing. So, what do you suggest to this thing? I mean, what is your outlook on this population jihad?
There's no doubt, very frank, Europe will be Islamic within another 20 or 30 years, or perhaps get it 50, but still, by the end of this century, Europe will be Islamic because of the population. The problem is that whenever anyone in Europe or outside Europe points this out, they're vilified as racist and Islamophobic. The Europeans are being deliberately propagandized by the European Union to think that it's racist and wrong, to be concerned about it. That this is something that Europeans should follow. Even though Europe was in a state of war for 1,000 years against the Islamic Jihad. And it didn't end because one side won or the other, but it ended because the Islamic Jihadis became poor and impoverished, and that in itself is important, because they became poor and impoverished when the non-Muslim communities that were supporting them force by force in the payment of the jizya became too weak to continue to support them. They had been bled dry. And so the Ottoman Empire that had been menacing Europe for 800 years became poor and no longer able to pursue it. The point is, they never changed their doctrine. They never changed their beliefs. And they hold the same beliefs today. But the Europeans have gotten collective amnesia that is largely enforced from the leadership, so that they don't recognize the threat that is posed. So when you say to Europeans, you need to have more children to counter this demographic jihad, and you need to consider the mass deportation of people who refuse to obey the laws of the land, as we were previously discussing, and you have to consider doing these measures as a matter of the preservation of your own civilization. They say, oh, you're just racist. And so you're full of hate, and we must not listen to you, we must embrace these people. And the problem is, if you embrace a poisonous serpent, you're going to get bitten. And so this is the situation that we face, not only in Europe, but of course, this is where it's most obvious to the people in the West what's happened. Now, the solution is obviously that we need to impress upon our own people the importance of having large families. And this is where the international left is playing a particularly villainous role, because they have propagandized people in all over the world that there is a great problem with overpopulation, that if you have many children, you're selfish, and you are straining the resources of the planet, and that you are responsible in view of the climate crisis and the population crisis, you will have no children until you want to two. And the only people not paying attention to that are Islamic jihadis, supremacists, and so on, who have 4 or 5 wives, 20 children, and they're going to inherit the earth. As a result, it's just a matter of time. And so the fact is that we have to begin a massive counter-propaganda campaign that counters the lies that people have been told for generations. And I can only speak for the United States here. I know that there are many people who they still believe these things, that it's responsible that you are being wise and respectful of the environment and of your fellow citizens, only to have 1 or 2 children at most. And they think that the earth is crowded with people to a degree that there would be massive crises of famine and starvation if we have more children. When actually, look at the demographic trends in detail, there's going to be a massive drop-off in population. You look at China, and they have so many people, but they've been pursuing this one-child policy. And when you tell people that they can only have 1 child, many of them say, well, we only want them to have a male child, so we'll abort the female. So then there's only young men in China. Who are they going to have children with? And so there's going to be a massive drop-off in population in China. There's also going to be massive wars between China and other lands so that they can have access to the women there and continue to reproduce. That's another thing beyond our
That is true.
today.
Yes.
But the point being that you see this happen, we need to get a response to it and say this population crisis is a lot. There's going to be a population input to good. And so we need to counter this. Also, human beings are not a liability. This is very important. Human beings are not a liability. Human beings are a positive good. When there were only a few 100,000 people in Europe, probably nobody could have ever expected how the area could possibly sustain 10 million people or 20 million people. If they thought about it at all, they would have thought the same thing that we've been told now, that the population will explode to a degree that there will be famine and catastrophe everything. But human beings have minds. Human beings have instruments. Human beings are inventive and have been able to create an infrastructure that has enabled the massive growth of population that we've seen through the last few centuries. And it could continue to do so. But if there is a population input, and there is a decline in population, there's a decline also in human ingenuity, because there are fewer people, and the more there is the fewer people you have, the fewer challenges you have between people. This is partly why I try to explain this. When you have more people, they speak with one another. Yes. And when they speak with one another, they give each other ideas. And the one idea leads to another. And so the more people you have, the more civilization advances. This is something that is historically verified, because there were times in Europe, hard to constantly referring to Europe, but it's what I know. Europe experienced several times in history the plagues, the Black Plague, and so on, the bubonic plague, and many people died, such that the population of Europe declined by, at one point, over 70% within a period of 52 years. And at that point, the cities were laid waste because there simply Constantinople, today Istanbul, which at that time was one of the leading cities, it was the leading city in Europe. And there were whole areas of it that were empty, depopulated, and the buildings falling into ruin. And the city and the whole empire, the Byzantine or the Roman Empire, went into decline because there were not as many people dealing with one another, and they did not thus spur each other to new inventions.
इसकी वॉइस बढ़ा दो.
Coming to the end of the time.
Yeah, no, it's okay, it's okay. I just want to ask one more question, if you are comfortable with one more.
Tell our people,
Yeah.
explain to the people, as I'm trying to do, why we have to have the children, and end the propaganda against them,
Yes.
and explain to them the Islamic jihad and part of the reason why this has to be done. And yes,
Yeah.
part of it is going on to.
Yeah, why we are losing this narrative war? I mean, they always actually create nonsense. They always kill us. They always do all kind of crimes against us. And again, they are the victims. We are not.
Yes,
We are not.
sure. They know that in the West, anyway, and I think it's true in India also.
Yeah,
They
it is.
accept it's the greatest privilege. In ancient times, if you were rich or if you were a successful knight or something of this kind, then you would have status in society. Today, our society, for a variety of reasons, now the greatest thing you can be is a victim. And then everyone will love you, and everyone will take care of you, and be solicitous for you. And so they play this game very well. And we have never learned to counter it because of the general refusal to address the problem itself.
Yes.
And so, Your Holiness, I commend you. I've admired your work over the years because you have the courage to speak about this honestly.
Yes.
And then everyone comes down to you and says, "Oh, what a terrible thing he said." But what you said was true, and it's obvious. And the truth, it shines out because even people who don't know, they look around them and they see, "Oh, yes, what you're saying is right."
Yes.
This is the situation. And so this is what we have to do to counter their victims of propaganda. Keep on telling the truth no matter what. And they're very people willing to do that. That's why I had so much respect for you. Because
Exactly.
so many people are willing to do this. There's so many people who are afraid. They're afraid of being called all the things they call you, all hate Islamophobes and hate mongers, racists and bigots and so on. And they quiet down and they say, "Well, I'm just going to let this happen because I don't want to lose my position. I don't want to be fired. I don't want to be hated. I don't want to be vilified." We have to have the courage to stand and take it. Because if we don't, we will not stand at all. We have to be, we will be on our knees before the Islamic jihad comes. And so if we don't stand now, we never will again.
That's true. That's why I respect you both, because you both are telling truth. Come what may. You want to say something?
So,
I just do not want to say anything, but it's very great honor for me to sit with Robert Spencer, my ideal. I cannot say anything, but I want to sit together with you, sir. Maybe in America or maybe in Europe, we will sit together and we will fight together and we will finish this jihad.
I look forward to it. I hope that happens.
Thank you very much, Robert. Yeah, you want to say? It's okay. So, anything else you want to say? Maybe the concluding remark?
Thank you.
Okay, then thank you so much for being here with us at WRC, and I think it's a small initiative from our side, but it will become big and bigger because you people are coming forward, you are supporting the cause, and Guruji is saying since ages that what is going to happen in the society, what is happening around there. So I really think that what were you saying, what Guruji is saying is going to be true in today's scenario, because things are happening as you said earlier. So this is the time we need to realize that the people who are fighting against this cancer are paying a huge price for telling the truth to the people. So I respect you, I respect Guruji, and I respect all the people who are fighting against this cancer. And I really think that in future we'll come together, we will make a strong alliance between us, maybe the different communities, maybe the different between the different people, and this will happen for sure. This is what I think personally. This is what, yeah.
We will finish jihad one day. One day we will finish jihad.
And he is.
I commend you for your confidence, and thank you.
He's a firm believer. Yes, he's a firm believer that we will finish this jihad in our lifetime. In our lifetime, that's the most important thing. That if we will fight together, I think things will change. And we need this change. We need this change because this is the need of the hour.
Against it, if we're united against it,
yes,
then great will happen.
Yeah, it will happen. It will happen. We will fight and we will win for sure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very honored.
Thank you. जैसा कि अभी आपने देखा कि रॉबर्ट स्पेंसर जी हमारे साथ जुड़े और हम सभी के लिए बड़े कहना चाहिए गर्व का विषय। और मैं गुरुजी से विनम्र अनुरोध करूंगी कि गुरुजी अब कुछ अपनी बात जो उन्होंने।
मैं डॉक्टर साहब का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं। डॉक्टर साहब के प्रयास से ये शुरू हुआ, बहुत ही छोटा सा प्रयास है। हम इसे बहुत बड़े स्तर पर करना चाहते थे और लोग आना चाहते थे भारत, उस भूमि को देखना चाहते थे जिसने सारी सभ्यताओं को जन्म दिया, और इस्लाम से जिहाद से लड़ने के लिए एक अलायंस बनाना चाहते थे। लेकिन हम कमजोर साबित हुए। मैं, डॉक्टर साहब और मेरे सारे साथी, हम उतने ताकतवर सिद्ध नहीं हुए जितना हमें होना चाहिए था। लेकिन लड़ाई अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त। अभी ना हम खत्म हुए हैं और ना ही अभी सनातन खत्म हुआ है। और ये याद रखिए, वी हैव टू फिनिश जिहाद, अदरवाइज जिहाद विल फिनिश अस। ये हमेशा याद रखिए। ये शुरुआत है, लेकिन ये शुरुआत एक दिन तूफान बनेगी और पूरी दुनिया तक हमारा मैसेज जाएगा। हर हर महादेव, हर हर महादेव, हर हर महादेव। डॉक्टर साहब, वेल डन, यू डिड इट। डॉक्टर साहब बहुत ही अच्छा,
थैंक यू।
बहुत ही अच्छा था। और ये शुरुआत बेशक छोटी है।
अरे महाराज जी, स्पेंसर जुड़ गया है, छोटी नहीं।